not me. 2 takes if you lucky. First take, stop me. 4 takes, that's true. 3 takes, not me. 2 takes if you lucky. First take, you got me.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Cobb and Dash Show. This is the quarterfinal preview, the Week 15 preview. You got 2 matchups on the docket this week. Pretty intense ones, I'll say. I mean, we've already seen arguments on the message board, on the group message. We have the Pancake King coming to us right here, our co-host, the first time ever back-to-back Pancake King. Also the first time back-to-back champion in our league. So, I mean, he has become the back-to-back king, regardless if it's bad or good. So I'll let him talk about that, and he'll do his chug here in a moment. But Cobb, fresh off it's finally concrete that you are the back-to-back Pancake King. How are we feeling all the way from DC right now?
I'm feeling all right. You know, there's a few things that were going through my head. I kind of accepted defeat pretty early this season as opposed to last season. Took a different approach, and I think it was easier to stomach this way, mainly because I did have a just abysmal team, and I was just like, no, I didn't have tough lineup decisions at all. I was more so finding a guy to fit in my lineup. But funnily enough, that as much as I sold out this year, there was a very close race for Pancake King. It came all the way down to the last week with a team that was in a similar situation like I was last year with Tasia, and I do feel for the guy. You know, there was some rumors of reverse jinxing going back and forth between us, and me hoping that Tasia got it. Not true. I at no point did I actually think Tasia was going to be Pancake King, mainly because it also had to result in me winning as well. But yeah, I feel bad for Tasia, but I'm okay with my standing. I kind of accepted it. I kind of like the ring of back-to-back king. So, you know, hopefully I can go to the championship side of things going forward. That's the goal. But another year of also having the most points against. So it's kind of rough. Actually, I might have been second last year, but still can't really control that. So I'm doing all right.
Yeah. I will say, you know, back-to-back king does a nice ring to it. So there's a potential team name there. You can actually, there's actually a key picture. You can go the Pancake King picture that we famously made famous this year, with you in the costume, and then also you hold the trophies from the
could do me as the Pancake King on the throne. You know,
ooh, that's actually pretty good.
That's a pretty good one.
That's on brand.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So we'll do the chug here in a second. Obviously, the chug will come after we do the final time we'll hear the theme for 2024. Sad, man. The Pancake King things become synonymous with fantasy football season, that theme song. So it's gonna be sad to play that video one last time until 2025, where we actually, you know, when we do our show, we do like February or March, like when trades begin, and we like talk about the super early Pancake King for next year.
That'll be good. Yeah, I was updating the draft board, and some teams are set up pretty good, nicely for next year. Some not so much. So there's gonna be some good competition going in next year.
I only traded my 1st and 9th, right? That's all I traded.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, you have Hodge has your 1st, or I think he ended up getting rid of that, and your 7th. You got rid of your 7th.
7th.
Yeah.
Is that the one I traded for
his 2nd?
I traded my 7th for his 2nd?
Your 1st and 7th for 2025 for his 2nd.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, for a 2nd last year's draft.
Last year's draft, yeah. And you give me your 9th for Mr. Kareem Hunt.
Okay, yeah. No, I mean, it's pretty rough. I mean, I'll make do. I'll figure it out. I always find a way, Cobb. I mean, I'm not being cocky, but I always find a way.
I mean, at least you have a lot more. I mean, you don't have your 1st, but at least you have those middle rounds now. You're kind of struggling with that last year, and still good. You still made playoffs, so shows that draft isn't everything.
Could I be a one and doneer? We'll see in this episode. We'll see. So yeah, obviously, before we get into it's only give me a quick show, guys, not be too long. Before we get into the preview of the quarterfinal matchups, what were some of the takeaways? Like, if you just had to kind of sum up the season, like if you had like one big takeaway, like what would be your like biggest takeaway as we like head into playoffs and head into off season for some of you guys?
Well, I kind of have two. And I mean, one was obviously Stu's dominance for this year. He never really looked back until last week, and he dropped in points and ended up becoming the 2 seed. But he was coasting. We locked his bye, 8 weeks ago, and we were right.
Mhm.
So, I mean, kudos to us for that. But I think the biggest takeaway is the Yag's downfall for me. I think that was something that was tough to watch from the outside. It was a guy that was so far ahead of the other teams early on in the season. Unfortunately, got some bad karma, got some bad juju out there, and it ended up backfiring. And he still had a chance, but ended up giving Alex a spot, a guy that we thought wasn't going to get his first playoff win uh, this year, which would have been a great story. But now, we'll get to the predictions later. But now he's a shot. So
Yeah, my biggest takeaway would probably be, I mean, yes, Yaglu's whole thing. I mean, I backed him. I'm going to be doing a chug later on. We have at Little Run. I'll do a chug later after ball tonight. But I had Yaglu being a team that made the bye. I love his team, and I still do like his team. I mean, yeah, like the running back situation was awful, but like, I mean, he's got, like, if you look at his team, he probably has one of the best keeper trios going into next year based on their tenders and all that stuff. So I do like that, and then he has his first and second next year. So like, I'm gonna double down. I'm going 10 toes down. I love Yaglu's squad. Even now I do. Because I think he has a good blueprint of keepers for next year. He no longer has the whole Barry shit anymore. The last year was this past year, rest in peace, was the last year that Barry's picks conveyed. So that's over now. But yeah, Yaglu it's a good one. My thing would be that this was the year, and I said it in the group message, this was the year that that Hotch and I were most vulnerable. Hotch wasn't trying to make the playoffs. I don't know, what was it? Start off 2-4, I believe. I was not looking. I was already talking about getting rid of Barry's pickup lines. I was not going to bring a team name back. I was upset in general. I was taking shots at Hotch for no reason, and like saying I was going to make my team like Lord Hotch Quad, and having something to do with that. But like, and then all of a sudden, I make a trade for Kareem Hunt. I start Baker Mayfield. Things started to change a little bit. The tide started to roll again, and Dash Much is back in there again. And if I could point to 2 victories, I was talking, not supposed to be about myself, but I can point to 2 victories. This is how like, you can't really turn your back on Hotch and Dash. Your matchup that I lost to you and ZB. If I beat Z, and it was all because of the same thing. It was a tight end bullshit for me. I lost to you because I started the wrong tight end. I lost to ZB because I started the wrong tight end. If I started the one that I had in my lineup all week, I would have won that matchup because I lost by like 5 or 6 points with both you guys. So I would be in a bye situation right now. Stu would be in a 3 spot right now, and Yaglu would have been in the playoffs because ZB would have lost. So Yaglu would have been in the playoffs. So yeah, it's just it comes down to that. But my main thing is the vulnerability aspect of Hotch and I has never been like this in a long time. And somehow Hotch makes the playoffs, and somehow I make the playoffs, going to run there. So that's my first big key. And the other one, ZB. We always like new blood in the playoffs, and you got to give kudos to ZB. ZB changed his team name in the middle of the season, and you've done the mid-season team name change. Good teams don't do that. Bad teams do that. And ZB thought his team was done in the cellar. He makes, Devontae Adams goes to the Jets. He has Rodgers on his team. He changes his team name to the New York Zackers. He goes in 5-3 stretch down to make the playoffs at the end of the season, beating me and a few other good teams to make the playoffs. It's a second year in the league, so sophomore season, man. It's hard to make the playoffs in the league when you have a really bad team and you inherit a really awful team. But somehow ZB like kind of pulled together some wins, and and he's in the playoffs. So those are probably my takeaways overall for the season.
yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, it was unfortunate. Yeah, it was unfortunate being at the position I was, feeling that had I stuck with it a little harder, like maybe I could have helped put a stop to this Dash and Hotch takeover of the playoffs. But I kind of
me.
trusted other
You
teams.
did your part. You beat
I
me.
did. I beat you, and then I bowed out pretty much. And I was like, I don't know. I was hoping that other teams could answer the call, and unfortunately didn't happen. But playoffs are, well, again, we'll get to it, but we're in an interesting spot for playoffs.
And I will say, too, also, I do think the league is in a good place right now. It's the first year in a long time where we haven't had to replace an owner going into the season. Well, obviously last year, but we had a mid-season owner change with Jack taking over Paul's spot. I think this league's in a good place right now. I love all 12 of our owners. I think the end of the season, I think Roden team really came on, and I think he's going to have a good team to be reckoned with next year. And I think he's 3 keepers. And I hope the guy isn't trade with Hodge because he is Puka, Nico, and Josh Allen. That's 3 great keepers, so he's got a really good trio next year. And high score at the end of the season. Roden's someone to look at. Jack, solid team. He had some injuries and also too, Jack didn't have his full draft board because Paul had those picks that he traded. So like I think we're in a good spot. I think you have a good skeleton. I think Taja's got a good skeleton. Jack's got a good skeleton. Roden's got a good skeleton. Yeah, and I'm talking about teams that didn't make the playoffs. Those are all 6 teams. Adam's in a weird spot. I'll say he's got a weird rebuild. I mean, his team is all about CMC. That's no longer. But I will say Chase Brown and AJ Brown's not bad. The Brown brothers, it's not bad.
Gee.
What can Brown do for you? Good fantasy team name. There you go. So I'm thinking about over here. But yeah, I think that's the thing. Top to bottom, good fantasy teams all over the place going into next year. So I think the league's in a good place right now. So I'm really happy with what I saw from the league this year.
Yeah, agreed. I was setting up that draft board, and it's definitely going to be a little more. It seems like it's going to be more competitive. I mean, this year felt really competitive. These are by no means the teams that we all expected to be in the playoffs this year at all. Like Yags was a popular pick, Tasia, me, popular pick. Adam was probably picked by some people, but there's a lot of people in there in the playoffs right now that I wouldn't have expected, or at least in the preseason we didn't. And it just shows just how competitive we've become, and I think it's going to continue for 2025. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I will say Hodge, as much as we love Hodge, the fantasy owner, he's really good in this league. Hodge did show that fantasy is a lot of luck. I mean, his team, look who he's starting right now. We'll get to who's starters right now, but he was trying to lose, guys, and he somehow made the playoffs. As much as we want to say this is a game of skill that we know we're talking about, I know Alex say, I have to watch the games. I need to be locked in to know what's going on. Not really, dude, because Hodge made the playoffs starting fucking Trey Benson and Bums and Roshan Johnson all year, okay? So, there's a huge component of luck, and Hodge really displayed that this year. And that's one thing. That's another thing, too, to say, to put a stamp on 2024 review. So
yeah, I stopped thinking that there was. I knew there was luck involved for fantasy for a while, but last year in particular, I brought this up a few times. But Yags' team last year, I had almost 300 more points for than him, and he had 2 more wins. I don't get it. Doesn't make any sense. But that's just how it goes. Yeah, you can't really control it, and that's something that you got to come to terms with at some point, and just let go and come play ball with your boys.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Alex has more problems than that. The guy bailed on his uncle and the fact that he bailed on the commissioner's birthday party while the co-commish hosted it, and he went to a 1-year-old birthday party not related to the guy. The fact that he lied about what they were doing at first, because at first he was told he was going to an art show, and then there was a birthday party involved. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then 1-year-old's birthday, it was not related to him, and whatever. That's fine. Alex is getting the kibosh on being invited out to keep stuff, and New Year's included. He's out. Oh,
it's a big cut.
Yeah. I've been simmering on it since last Saturday. Didn't like it. More thought about it. But yeah, and karma, and like I said, I'm not a petty guy by any means, but karma gets you sometimes. And this week might be the old hammer gets laid down, and maybe he'll bow down and kneel down to his commission uncle next year. All right, so now we're gonna get to the Pancake King, the final Pancake King of the year. Final time we hear it, and it's pretty fitting that the last game where we solidified that Cobb became the Pancake King, Cobb was the low score chug of the week, and that was week 15. So Cobb is going to the honorary end of season chug for the week 15 Pancake King. So here we go.
You are the Pancake King, young and sweethearting fan of thieves. Ooh, see that boy, watch that taste, take
Yeah, watch that taste, man. It gets me every time. I figured you'd give me the stage here. Have an unopened Michelob for everyone. Probably should have poured this out beforehand, but wanted to show that was a full beer. Got a nice Foothills glass here. And as I pour, I'm going to go ahead and waste some time by talking about this season. I said before earlier in the show that it sucks being back-to-back Pancake Kings, but it is nice to have that back-to-back title again. If you're gonna do something, be great at it. And the last 2 years, I've been great at sucking. Previously, was great at being great, and I'm hoping to have more of that. So it is funny that this is the final show of the regular season. I guess we're previewing the postseason, and I had not had a chug all season. I think I only had one last year too, which is kind of crazy considering I was in last place for virtually the last 2 years, and I've only had two chugs. And one is the last chug of the year, I guess, because I don't think we do any in the postseason. So let me go ahead and turn this blur off, and you guys can see this nice background off, and you guys can see my chug. So cheers to successful regular season. Good luck to everyone in the playoffs, and I'm coming back for that title next year. So don't get comfortable. Oh man, spilled a little bit there at the end, and I don't have any napkins anywhere, and that sucks. But whatever. The show must go on. That sucked. Just ate a whole burrito before this shit too.
Yeah, it's rough. And this guy's playing on my team tonight when we play pickup basketball.
Yeah,
That's great.
I'm conditioning for IOP, so.
Yeah, are you going to do IHOP? I know some people have been asking. Some people don't know. I know your answer is, but are you going back to our sponsor, or are you going to?
Yeah, after some long and careful consideration, I have decided to take my eating talents over to IHOP off of Pickett Road. I'm gonna go back to that destination. McDonald's, for everyone that was thinking that was a cop out, for thinking that was the easy way out, by no means was that easy. It was so much harder. I felt so much worse. And that was the whole point, is I wasn't going to coast by. I wanted it to still be a punishment. For some reason, people didn't see that as still the same punishment. And to those, I invite you to go to McDonald's on a Saturday. Jesus, after these kids are all coming in after their t-ball games, their soccer games, their families are having a good weekend, and you're just sitting there by yourself with 12 McDoubles in front of you, shoving your face. So that's social embarrassment and physical embarrassment. And it was a rough day. Yags and Dash joined me for a little bit, and I was the one on pain. That McFlurry at the end was fucking terrible.
Yeah, that was bad. It was also we went outside. It was all melting too.
Yeah, it's gross. It turned into milk, and I had to drink it.
Yeah. Did you see Did you see that one? The one I sent in the group message earlier. I was like, you can do this instead.
Yeah, I did. Maybe. Let's see. I'll propose it.
You have to apply first, and then I think obviously you have to get accepted. But being 1,000, dude, it's so gross.
Yeah, I think I'd rather go to IHOP than chance getting just all the STDs possible.
Yeah. Well, obviously, if you were single, I think that would be like actually funny to do. But you're not single. But like,
yeah, true.
But imagine trying to tell your girlfriend, like, rationalizing, yeah, I really hate IHOP. It really made me sick for weeks.
Yeah. Like, listen, do you really want me to spend a few hours at an IHOP or just like 30 minutes of,
Yeah, well, I guess the time wouldn't really hold up because I think you'd have to take a flight to like New York City and shit and like have to like do a whole thing.
just plan a trip around it and be like, hey, I gotta go real quick.
I mean, you could probably get away with it, but like in this league, it would be like fucking, dude, you have to film it. We have to see you did it.
Jesus Christ. So gross.
Yeah, but Cobb, looking forward to the IHOP, going back to the Pancake King Challenge. It sucks, but I think you'll be right back in it. Hopefully, back in the thick of things. But you never say never in this league, because I didn't think you'd be able to go back to back pancakes.
Yeah, neither did I. I was pretty hype about my squad, and then they'd be pretty good right now, but they wouldn't click on the same weeks, and then I had to ship them off, and a couple misses in the draft, and here I am.
Yeah. Well, good luck to you, and I'll probably be attending your Pancake King ceremony.
Be good. I have a better place to hang out at, anyways. So
100%, it's way better.
It's
You
so
actually
much
have your own
better.
booze and stuff, and like
yeah,
it's Kier. And you get you actually have a server and stuff, so it's actually you actually have like to make awkward conversation with the server about what you're doing.
Yeah, I didn't last time I did it, so.
You didn't?
No, I meant to, and then all of a sudden I was 10 pancakes in, and I think they got the they got the message.
All right, so now we're gonna get to our preview for the upcoming week, which starts in about an hour and a half. So obviously the matchups, we have the Cobb or ZT in my Cobb era has the bye week for the one spot. Stu, Cobb's IR spot, has the bye for the second spot. Then I have the 3 spot. New York Zackers or Hotch at the 4th spot, and New York Zackers at the 5th spot, and Alex is the 6th spot. So obviously you guys watch the show, so you guys know I will not be, as for bias reasons, I will not be previewing my game. I'll just make a couple comments afterwards, but Cobb will be previewing the 3 versus 6 matchup, which is actually between the 2 co-hosts, but Alex is like a part-time. I don't even know what. Alex is like a temp. He's not even like a real co-host of the show anymore. I'm deleting any kind of footage we have of him. He's going off. So a new intro next year. I'm saying it right now. 2025, there'll be a new intro for the Cobb and Dash show, and Alex will no longer be in it, and neither will Barry. I think it's time to part ways with some of the stuff we have for the branding and marketing aspect of things.
Yeah, end of an era, but our production will continue to take everything into account going forward, and we'll have some new segments coming up, so we'll workshop in the off season.
Yeah, the show goes on, as Cobb said earlier. All right, so take us away, Cobb, with our first matchup of the weekend.
Yeah. So let's just talk about the overall this side of the bracket. It was almost the perfect setup where we would have had Dash, Alex, and ZT all in the same side of the bracket, which I think a lot of the people were cheering for. But then people started thinking that the script writers and there was of the script writers and that there's some fix in. So unfortunately, Stu had to drop to the 2 seed and take over this side of the bracket. Still good matchups, but not as many storylines. But this one is a good storyline. We have Alex, Mr. One and Done, usually in the playoffs, going against probably, you were going through the stats in the group me a while back of probably the person that's been in the playoffs the most over the last, decade or at least 8 years. For most owners here, that they think of Dash, they think of the playoffs, and vice versa.
They think of playoffs, I don't think of championships. They think of me choking, but yeah, as long as
we're not talking championships.
No, we're not. Longest active streak, 8 playoffs in a row. Longest active streak.
Yeah. So, and this is maybe Alex is trying to get a start and break this curse of being known as Mr. One and Done, not being able to 0-5 in the playoffs. That's brutal. So, he needs to get a win. Otherwise, he's not it's going to take him 6 years to break 500. 6 years. Oof. We hate to see that. But yeah, Alex is primed for this. We've heard about it all season. That pick of Saquon Barkley really turned it around for his franchise going into the year, and he almost missed it. He had to count on another team to get him in the playoffs. That team was the 11 seed, and somehow Tasia, with a miracle in the last week, got it done. Back against the wall, really not wanting to Pancake King, ended up helping Alex get into the playoff spot, and now Alex gets to face the guy that consistently reminds him that he is Mr. One and Done. So let's go ahead and get into the matchups here. We already see who Yahoo's favoring, but will that be what the Cobb and Dash show declare as the right projection? We'll find out in just a second here. So we got Jalen Hurts against Patrick Mahomes. So we were talking about, or Dash went on talking about how Baker Mayfield really turned his season around, really turned his team around. And it was a tough decision because Patrick Mahomes is obviously his team's quarterback, and the quarterback that has gotten him to so much success for the most part over the last few years. You can see his tank right there that he's repping. But that was a very good decision. And now that we're in the playoffs, we're in a different mode. We're dealing with a different beast, and that's what I'm worried about with Alex, is that he doesn't have this conditioning of playoff matchups and making these tough calls here. Obviously, Mahomes going against Cleveland. Cleveland's defense isn't great, but you'd think you'd stay with the quarterback that's gotten you here with Baker Mayfield this year. But I like the change with the Patrick Mahomes choice. Jalen Hurts going against Pittsburgh. They didn't do anything really special against Carolina. Pittsburgh's defense is way better than Carolina's. Um, I'm gonna go Mahomes here. I think KC Cleveland's gonna be a little gross, but I feel more comfortable about that than I do Jalen Hurts going against Pittsburgh. We talked about this kind of weird stack Alex has going on with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. He's taking it into the playoffs. See if that works. I mean, this matchup is going to make Alex's week. It's going to come down to how Philly's offense looks against Pittsburgh. Because if they have a stinker of a game, then oof, I don't know. But coming out of the gate, I'm gonna go Mahomes over Jalen. I like that matchup better. I feel more comfortable. I don't think either blow up this week, but I feel more comfortable with Mahomes in that spot. Jordan Addison against Cooper Kupp. Addison blew up last week. What, he had 3 touchdowns last week? Yeah. And he's been getting a ton of targets. Sam Darnold's been looking great. Kind of a guy that people overlooked, I think, coming into the season. Now is a primary starter on a playoff team going against Cooper Kupp. Not much needs to be said there, but other than this is the guy that Alex is missing ball for. And, I don't know. I want to say Addison, but because Alex isn't coming to ball, I don't know. This is a tough one. I think this is a pretty close. I'm going to go Kupp just because we know what Kupp is and we know he's going to get those targets. Again, in division games can be a little shaky. Addison coming off a huge week obviously will cool down, but I don't think he'll have a bad week per se. But I'm going to go Kupp again, just kind of similar thing I said with Mahomes. I feel more comfortable with Kupp there. Saquon Barkley against David Montgomery. Gonna go Barkley, obviously, but Demont. But that's not to knock at Demont. Demont has been awesome. I mean, 3rd round pick. He was awesome for me last year. I think, yeah, it was last year I had him in the 3rd round as well. This is a guy that continues to be overlooked, and he's an RB. It's a 1A kind of situation. I don't like, it's not a 1A 1B. They're both great. Demont, if anything, is a little more consistent. He has a way higher floor, I think. So I love that matchup, but I do have Saquon just because of what he's looked like this year. Probably the best fantasy player out there right now, other than Jamar Chase. Zach Ertz versus TJ Hawkinson. I'm going to go TJ Hawkinson, just for the known targets and just like what he can do. I know Ertz was the guy I had earlier in the season, and he was key for a little bit. Like, I don't know. Coming out of a bye, maybe he'll be all right. But like the last 3 weeks, he's gotten a touchdown. If he doesn't get a touchdown, his weeks aren't like that great. And he was kind of annoying to have on my team earlier. So just because of that, I'm going to go Hawkinson. And I just like that offense, the Minnesota offense against Chicago there, a little better. Aaron Jones versus Josh Jacobs. Again, 2 guys, running backs that I think got overlooked going into the draft, but have very much paid off. Obviously, Aaron Jones has had his injury issues, but has still looked really good for Alex, making that pairing with Barkley and Jonathan Taylor look pretty nice. Both of them have pretty good matchups this week. Oh man, I think I'm going to lean Jacobs in this one. Just again, based off of who they're playing, like Seattle's run defense is disgusting. Like, it sucks. And again, just like going off of the weather, it looks like it's going to be raining in Seattle, and that'll be the coin toss. Like, I kind of have it pretty close, but I'll take that into consideration. Choose Jacobs there. Keenan Allen against Jonathan Taylor. Probably going to lean Jonathan Taylor in this one. Again, not like a wash or anything like that. Like, Keenan Allen gets a lot of targets, can have a good week with those targets. I mean, I don't know. See, these are tough matchups, man. This is why we're in the playoffs. these are not easy gimme matchups that we were used to in the regular season. These are two teams that really want to win for different reasons, and this is where the struggle comes in. Again, just consistency's sake, I'm gonna stick with Jonathan Taylor just because it's known touches that he's going to get. Denver's defense is really stingy, and like on the other side, Chicago, Minnesota could be a shootout of some sort. I like the Bears defense somewhat, and I don't really think it's going to be like a offensive explosion for Minnesota like they had last week. So, leaning Jonathan Taylor in that sense. Joe Mixon against Adam Thielen. Give me Joe Mixon. You heard me earlier just about talking about all these running backs getting overlooked, and yet another one, Joe Mixon, just a rebirth year for him. Looking crazy. Everyone's psyched about Houston's offense, but no one really talked about Joe Mixon. And now Joe Mixon's the guy that you want on that offense for the most part, which is kind of crazy to me. But give me Joe Mixon in that sense. Adam Thielen has had a great last 2 weeks. Now, again, think he'll have a good week, but I want the consistent, the guaranteed touches and the guy that has consistently performed. Adam Thielen's had the injury issues, and you never know with Carolina's offense. That was pretty down the middle for the most part. When I gave you Hawkinson, Jacobs, Mixon, and Mahomes. So this is a really close one. Yahoo has it, and the decision is tough here. I know what I want to do, but I'm not sure. You know what? Listen, these were tough matchups to decide. It was pretty split in the middle, as you heard. Yahoo has it pretty close, but
Yahoo also, I will say, like the Yahoo's predictions. I know we don't really give a shit about Yahoo's predictions, but because it should be like at least 26 to 126 to 128, they have for some reason they've been really stingy with Ashawn Robinson's stats. I mean, he's got 1.92. Dude, look. I mean, might be the most consistent D tackle in the league. I mean, look from week 8, 12, 4, 11, 5.
Yeah, their
8.
IDP predictions are so bad.
Makes no sense to me. But that's why it's so close, or that's why it looks like it should be closer than what it is for the projections. But.
Yeah, this is a tough one, and I think it comes down to one owner is taking the time to watch their team perform on a Thursday night, and that takes dedication, that takes hard work, and because of that, I think Alex has earned this first win in his playoffs. And I think it might be a guarantee. It's pretty close to a guarantee that he's going to. I mean, it's just a guy that's able to dedicate that much time to his team and skip on things like ball. That's a tough choice, but you choose fantasy and it always works out in that sense. So, I think Cooper Kupp has a blow up game, and it might be over before it starts for you, my friend. After we'll come out of ball, we'll see what it looks like, but. I think I'm going to have Alex here getting that first win, 130 to 123. Pretty close in the projections, but.
Yeah, I do kind of lean your way. I mean, look at the matchups here. I don't think the matchups really go in his favor. You got Pittsburgh Steelers going against your top two offensive weapons who've kind of gotten you to this point. Jonathan Taylor going against Denver, another offensive weapon for him. Aaron Jones, sure. I mean, he's questionable here, but I mean, he'll probably play. But even he's like they've been weird with his like timeshare. They'll take away like he won't get touches and he's healthy on the sideline. I'll see him just like on the sideline he's healthy and stuff because I have him in another league. But I'll say this fun fact. I love like the fun fact aspects of the show. Check out this. This is another one I want to show. So Alex and I played once this season and I beat him in that matchup. Ironically though, Alex did not come to ball that week. Because he was watching none other than Cooper Kupp on a Thursday. Yeah. Whoa. And he lost that game. And so, let me go to the that was it. God damn it. Wrong one. Fuck. Sorry. I gotta share this right tab. All right, hold on. One more time. One more try. Okay. This was back. This was what week was. Week 8. I beat him 144, 121. Alex is a different team, obviously. He got rid of, he doesn't have Stroud anymore. He has the Hurts and Barkley anti-stack or whatever. But yeah, he had Cooper Kupp on that Thursday night game against Minnesota. He got a 14 that night. And, he took a nice early lead. And I mean, that was it. I didn't even play Addison that game. I don't even know if Addison did anything that night. Nonetheless, Alex had a Thursday night game that night, and we saw what happened. But going back to what you said, I think he's got it, man. Like, you said you brought up the Mahomes stuff. I had Mahomes. I had Baker starting for me all year. Baker's playing against San Diego this week, the Chargers this week, and they have the high scoring defense. Like teams are scoring about 15 points a game against them, and I was not. Based on the way I saw Mayfield get sacked a lot in the Raiders game, I feel like that same kind of thing's going to happen against Khalil Mack. So I had to go back to Mahomes. Browns defense, while it was supposed to be good this year, they've been giving up the last 6 games around 20, full season wise, they've been giving around 26 points a game. Our offense is bound to click at some point, and the games against Jameis, you need to have to be able to score if you want to beat the Browns. And they're going to be throwing a lot, so I think we're going to be throwing a lot. So I think Mahomes might have a little throwback kind of night. But nonetheless, with all that said, it's going to come down to Monday night. I have Addison, I have Keenan Allen, I have Hawkinson, and I have Byard in that Monday night game. Alex has Aaron Jones. So if this game is within reach and it gets to Monday, I'm going to be the champion, or I'm going to be the winner of this matchup. I'm not the champion. I'm not calling my shot yet. But if it's not, Cup goes off tonight. If Cup goes off tonight, I lose. Cup does not go off tonight, I win. So tonight, Alex, stay home. Watch that thing like he did that Thursday in Week 8 when you played me and you lost. And if Cup has a 15, I don't think you win. But if Cup doesn't, I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to say I'm going to slightly lean Alex for being home, being a dedicated fantasy guy, watching it at home, because that really helps, But if you don't win, remember, the karma's going to get you because your uncle, the commissioner, you bailed for a 1-year-old you don't even know, dude. Instead of having key times with half the fantasy league, you bailed, and the fantasy gods aren't kind. Look at Cobb's situation with the back-to-back Pancake King. Not kind. And like the Turkey Bowl gods came for Cobb during Turkey Bowl, the fantasy gods are going to come for you for bailing on the boys during birthday weekend. So, Alex, congratulations, man. You may have gotten your first playoff win. So, Alex wins the first matchup. Tough to say, but the guy's missing
I believe it.
He's missing ball for this. So, I got to give it to him.
Yeah, it's dedication, and it's just like some teams have it, some teams don't. I don't know.
And he's got Saquon Barkley. And if Alex loses this matchup, I think he might be the only fantasy owner who didn't make it to semifinals weekend with Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
I want to say poor guy, but I can't. I can't get myself to say poor guy.
He's about to be a very rich guy. He might win this league.
Oh, 100%. He's gonna win this league. He's gonna have a title before ZT possibly. I mean, a lot of things going for the kid. I'm happy for him. I hope he enjoyed his Saturday at changing diapers at a 1-year-old's party. All right, so now we're gonna get to the other matchup. This is ZB New York Zackers versus Hotch Tua. Both team names I had a big hand in making, by the way. I also made a graphic with Hotch's face on the Hawk Tua girl, I had Tua on the Hawk Tua girl, and I had a Hotch on the girl in the background, but he didn't go with that logo. But yeah, obviously, Hotch, one of the best owners, the best owner in BL Plus history. Guy's been around since the year after the inception of this league. I was surprised he came the year after. I thought it was like 2 years later, but now he's been around for a long time. And he has the titles to show for it. Guy was trying to lose, made the playoffs anyways. So yeah, you can't really kick this guy down, man. Like he's gonna be up even when he doesn't want to be up. But yeah, big game. ZB, second year in the league, he was almost down for the count. Changed his team name mid-season, and then went on a huge win streak. And here he is. He's the fifth spot and 4-5 matchup. So here we go. Let's go to the first matchup. We got quarterback versus quarterback. And I'll say this: these two teams, while they're in the playoffs, I think I could pick out a couple teams who didn't make the playoffs. They're much better than both these squads, like easily. Hotch is being carried by one guy, and ZB, I mean, he's relying on Sam Darnold throwing for 50 points to get to where he is. It's worked. I'm not knocking these guys for it, but just pretty crazy. So Sam Darnold versus Tua. Tua's going against Houston. Sam Darnold's going against Chicago. I got to say, Tua's numbers have been ridiculous recently. Ridiculous. And they're trying to stay in the playoff hunt. Minnesota doesn't necessarily need it, but I think we're still competing with Detroit for that playoff, for the NFC North. Chicago defense has not been looking good recently, but I just think Tua and them, that offense is starting to click a little bit. And you just look at his last few games. If I go Tua here, it's a slight lean. But, I'm not doing that. I'm going Wash. I do think, both these guys have been playing out of their minds. I'm going Wash. It's too tough to call in this one. So I'm going to go Wash here. Sorry, let me dig in a little bit. DJ Moore versus JSN. DJ Moore, solid, but JSN, if you looked at JSN's numbers recently, holy shit. He's like a wide receiver 4 right now, I think, in fantasy. Just consistent can be 35, 19, 17, 9, 16. And on the other hand, DJ Moore, he's just too volatile, man. It's 11, 20, 29. Solid, but it's not JSN level. JSN level can get a blow up for you. I'm gonna go JSN over DJ Moore here. James Cook. Okay, we're trying to take time. We're trying to be very measured and take our time with these matchups here. But James Cook versus Trey Benson. This is the reason why Hodge is not gonna win this game. Trey Benson. Hodge could have gone 2 weeks. Last week, I didn't have any fob left. I waited. The next morning, I woke up and I just scanned to see who was there. Jaleel McLuhan was there. Got him. Sear McCormick was there. I was able to get it, both those guys. And I don't know what, and he scans through this stuff. He knows what he's doing. And Trey Benson, was he still hoping not to make the playoffs last week? I don't know, but he's really not positioned himself well because now he's got a chance to make the championship. And Trey Benson's who he's rolling with right now. So I'll go James Cook. Even if I don't like the Detroit Lions matchup, I'll still go James Cook because Trey Benson's not it. But who knows? With Hodge's luck, he might blow up this week. Who knows? Next matchup. Okay, we got our first tonight game. So George Kittle for CB. Big game for him. Huge game for George Kittle. I believe George Kittle dominated last time they played, if I'm not mistaken. No, he didn't play that game. Huh. Interesting. All right, never mind. So can't really compare that to anything. Rams defense, not good by any means. We saw the Bills game last week, the fireworks in that game. But on the other hand, you got Brock Bowers. They're calling him the next Kelsey. He's been playing really well. Although 27-6, 25-7, I think Kittle's been more consistent as of late. And I think because they have Desmond Ridder, and I don't care if Desmond Ridder's going back almost for a revenge game, Desmond Ridder is awful. And so the fact that Desmond Ridder is his quarterback right now, I think we have to say that George Kittle is probably the better play here between the two guys. Kittle's been really consistent pretty much all season. Yeah, man, double digits every week. Besides that Buffalo game, too. But I don't think anybody in that offense did anything that week. It was that snow game, so it was kind of an outlier. I think more consistently, we have to go George Kittle in this one. Devontae Adams and Jalen Waddle. Waddle's come along really recently. I have in a league, 23, 9, 17. As this offense is starting to get more on track, they're utilizing him a little bit more. But, again, Devontae Adams, talk about targets, man. It's double-digit targets every week. It's only Rodgers throws to him. They're going against Jacksonville this week. This might be one of the few guaranteed wins they have left. And I have to go, and I'll say this, if Jalen Waddle goes off with Tua, Hodge wins his matchup because those two, and then you have Jamar Chase coming up also. Yeah, but I'll go Devontae Adams in this one. But if Jalen Waddle could easily go off here. Jerry Jeudy, who's been tearing it up against CeeDee Lamb. I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb in this matchup. Is CeeDee Lamb going to play? Was limited in practice. He'll play. Yeah, he's going to play. I do think there's a chance Jerry Jeudy does tear it up because the Jameis Winston factor is throwing bombs every play. It seems like there's a chance there, but I have to go CeeDee Lamb against Carolina. Carolina's games, all these games are like shootouts. They're scoring 20 plus points in each of those games, and I think CeeDee Lamb could have a big blow up spot against Carolina. Juwan Jennings and Jamar Chase. I will say this seems like it's a shoe-in for Jamar Chase. Juwan Jennings is Purdy's favorite target. Debo doesn't get looked at anymore. Brandon Ayuk's not there. He only looks at Juwan Jennings and George Kittle. And I gotta say, Juwan Jennings has been on like three or four different teams this year. I don't know how he didn't stick with any of those teams, especially Lil J. I think Lil J had him for a little bit and he started him and he cut him. He's gonna be the guy. Debo's gone next year, and Juwan Jennings obviously is Purdy's favorite target. So Juwan Jennings was on a bunch of different teams this year. He should have been kept. But I have to go Chase just how the way he's been playing. But it's closer than you think between the two matchups here. And then defensively, I mean, yeah, this is a crapshoot. I'm not, but there's two other guys in this matchup. Hodge has Bosa and Fred Warner, so we'll get a good. We'll certainly get a good picture of where this game is going based on the way Kittle and Juwan Jennings play. Obviously, it's two of his flexes or two of his key guys in offense, and then obviously the two guys that that Hodge has, because you won't have that the two defensive guys to give you those 5-6 points here on Sunday. So we'll get a good indication how this game is going based on how this game goes tonight. So it's a great Thursday night game as far as seeing where we're going to see how the game goes. We'll have it on at Ball, so if you're going to be there, don't worry, we'll have the game on. So looking at it, I think it was pretty. I think right down the middle, just like the other matchup, right, Calvin?
Yeah.
Shit. I gotta say, I can make the argument for both these teams, but I think ZB pulls it out in this one. I think the ZB's consistent leveled guys will be able to ice out the Jamar Chase and JSN potential and CeeDee Lamb potential as well. But I think ZB's got such a consistent team, like we always said about ZB's team. Not a lot of home run hitters. I know I always say that on the show. Not a lot of home run hitters, but he's got enough guys to get on the base to get a single that it can you can rack up some runs there. Whereas Hodge has a lot of guys who fucking go over 4 at the plate. Trey Benson being one of them. We've seen Jalen Waddle do that a lot this year. And again, Houston's also another team that's like, in the vying for a playoff spot, and the Colts are close to them. I don't think they've clinched the division yet, but Houston's gonna be fighting for a good playoff spot. So Miami, while Houston's even sucks, Miami is gonna have her hands full in that one. But yeah, I think I have to go with CB on Monday night with a big game from Sam Darnold. Well, not a big game, but he'll get like a 20-something, and that'll do enough to put him over the top and beat Hodge by a couple points. But yeah, I like ZB in this one. What say you?
Yeah, the thing that drives me crazy is how good Hodge's team probably could have been if he really gave a shit this year and tried, and probably good for the league that he didn't, because JSN, CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Brock Bowers, like those 4, ridiculous starting. Like you don't want to see those guys on the other side ever. And with that being said, if CeeDee Lamb plays, I think Hodge wins. I think Hodge wins this. If he doesn't play, then Hodge doesn't have it. It's just something's in the air this season. Something is up Hodge's sleeve. It's hard to bet against the guy that's won this league 5 times. The matchup between Trey Benson and James Cook, that's where ZB's got to make up his points. But like James Cook had a bad game last week, and Detroit's it's gonna be more of a passing game, and like otherwise Josh Allen's gonna be taking all the yards rushing. So I don't know if that's as big as a gap as we want to believe, but I hope ZB wins. But I think I have Hodge pulling this one out somehow, like 127 to 123, close game.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's gonna be a close game. And I will say also, I think I misspoke here. So it's not going to be as a Sam Darnold kind of game. Sam Darnold and DJ Moore, and then he has Brock Bowers on Monday. That's just because there's 2 Monday night games this week. So this game is going to go down to the wire. I will say that it's going to go down on Monday night, and we'll be on the group as we're talking about it. I think me and Alex's match will be more so like we'll clearly have a definition of how this game is going to go going into Monday night, because I have so many guys. So if I'm down by a lot, I was like, oh shit, okay, can we have a comeback? But if I'm like, I'm down by a little bit and I have all those guys on Monday, I think we'll know. But this match, I think, is definitely going to be clearly defined by how Monday night goes.
Yep.
And we'll get a good picture tonight with the 4 guys that are going to be playing in this game.
Yeah, they have a bad night tonight.
You might be right. We might have another season where Hodge is in the semis. He's got a streak of 4. Hodge is a 4 straight playoff streak. Right? Yeah. So, yeah. So, should be a good week, guys. So we will be coming back to you guys. This season we kind of, we've been up and down with the amount of shows we've done. We didn't go week to week, which, we'll try to be better about that next year, but we'll try to be better about that. But overall, for the playoffs, we'll make sure we do one every week, updating you guys on how we see the things going. So whether I win or lose, next week we will still have a show because that's how the Cobb and Dash show is done. We will always have a show for you guys, regardless if we're in or out. But we love you guys. We hope everyone enjoys the game tonight, and we hope we'll see half of you guys at ball tonight. But yeah, good luck to everybody who is in the playoffs and guys who are in the off season making deals, negotiating stuff behind the scenes. Good luck to you. We'll see you guys next week. Take it easy, everybody. All righty.